Let's see here. Currently tied up, wanted to tune in. All right, well, I'm gonna jump right to it. So the number one question I get, no, actually, this is number two question. Number one question I get is how do I sell without being salesy? And that one we've talked about in past conversations is really simple. It's to start with sincerely caring about solving a problem for the client. And if I care about your success more than my success, it becomes my responsibility to give you opportunity to work with me. So it's not even about if you tell me yes, if you give me money. It's about how badly do you want to get rid of the problem or get to your goal faster and easier. Most people I've seen, though, they'll run away from something faster than they'll run towards something. So that's the number one question I get. The number two question I get is how do I raise my prices? Where people still say yes. Let's see. JT says, what do you feel is the difference between selling digitally versus in person? Ooh, that's a good question. So let me just share the screen over here. I actually like that question better. What is the difference between selling in person versus virtually? So I love this. Let me increase the font on here. A lot of the world I'm seeing is going online, right? We've got TikTok, we've got Instagram. Those are huge platforms for commerce. You got Shopify, that might be, other than Amazon, of course, the number one like e-commerce platform globally. Let me let a few people in here. Give me a second. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Throw your questions in the chat. This is being recorded live to YouTube. So you're welcome to turn on your camera. You're welcome to ask questions. Most people I know, they want to keep it in the chat. So the first question, what's the difference between selling in person versus virtually? The first thing I need you to understand, the only business is people. The only business, you don't have a business without people on either end, right? Either fulfilling the product or service or who consume that product or service. So before we dive into the differences in person or virtual, it's so crucial. And shout out to Dr. David Twilley, who gave me that quote, who gave me that. It's more than a mantra, it's a truth. It's when you remember that there are people behind these screen names, there's people behind these order numbers, there's people behind these invoices, it makes it a much different experience. We're not clicks and views and likes and shares. There are people on the other end of these, bots excluded, obviously. So obviously here in New Skills New You, we work on personal and professional development with the emphasis of sales, believing if you grow people, you grow your business, right? And our mission statement, our motto, our mantra, catchphrase is one new skill will change your life. And if we start looking at our business as an opportunity to serve, selling becomes much, much, much easier. So the next thing I will mention is you're offering a product or service. To people, right? The medium may change, online or offline, but the people don't. So now, as I am working through my sales pitch, my copy, uh, I think the biggest difference between in person and virtual is how quickly you can get feedback. Because if I sell you something in person, let's say I'm selling confections, cake, pies, candy, whatever. You taste it, you don't like it, you could tell me right away. If you taste it and you do like it, you could tell me right away. But online, let's say I ship it to you, there's a distance between when you get it, open it, consume it. And then what do I have to do? I have to call, I have to email, maybe you have a chat on your website. So the biggest difference between selling in person and virtually is how quickly we can receive feedback. how easy we can get feedback, and then the response. That's why if you look at all these major corporations, they probably have a Twitter. And that Twitter is most likely used for supporting their clients, not for memes, maybe not even for announcements, not for what else? Educating. They use that to support their clients. I'm actually working on uh, a training and a workshop for corporations, for tech companies and SaaS companies. They have a group called Customer Success Team. And that team supports the clients after they buy. I think a big opportunity for that smaller entrepreneur. And I say that respectfully, right? You have less than 400 employees. You have doing less than it's something 40 million in revenue annually. You're considered a small business by the SBA. And so I know it's tough to have a dedicated customer service team, but that's where I'm working on the training to show them like that is a revenue generating source for your business. It's not an expense. It's it's not even a luxury. The easiest customer to find is the one you already have. So when we talk about in person versus virtually, the second thing I'll mention, virtual is a lot easier to capture data. What does that mean? I have their name, email. You should be getting their phone number always. If they have social media, I want to capture the information because if I can offer them additional solution, they're already ready to buy again. They already know who I am. I don't have to go find them. One thing I don't know if people do a good job about in person is capturing that information. So let's take the last time you went to Macy's. They probably asked you to sign up for the rewards program. That isn't for rewards. That's for data. And they have to entice you so they can track your behaviors, your patterns, which stores you visit, what you buy, how much you spend, how often you spend it. And I don't think in person we do a good job of that. So if you're ever a vendor and you're doing in-person events, have a lead magnet, just like you're online, just like you were doing a webinar, just like you had a landing page. Do a lead magnet, capture that client information. Restaurants are a lot better than this. They have platforms like Toast or Squarespace. And I've even used a card somewhere that I'd never been. And I'm like, hey, we recognize this card. Are you Bruce? That's that's where we start pulling people offline, online. So just a quick recap. This is our sales Q&A. And the first question we had was a good one from my buddy JT. What's the difference between selling in person versus virtually? If you have a question, throw it in the chat. I'll try to answer it now, or worst case scenario, we'll get to it next Sunday. One thing I'm really proud of myself over the past 15 years as I sold business to consumer, small ticket items, large ticket items. So business to business, again, something as low as $500 to $50,000. I've sold low ticket, high ticket. I've sold online and offline. So my goal is to help share with you all how you can grow your business from the inside out. And I believe that the first way to do that is work on yourself. But the next best way is to create some revenue. So when we talk about selling online versus in person, virtually versus physically, remember these are still people. Capture their data, gather feedback, and deliver the highest level customer service in any scenario. I think online is even more important. I think online is even more important because people are used to getting ignored. They're used to, it's not worth the trouble. No one's going to hit me back anyway. Maybe that's happened to you. So think about your poor experiences with businesses. How can you improve that for your business as an entrepreneur, as a business owner? How can you offer a higher level of customer service? Because what people don't realize that customer service is sales. The business with the best customer service wins. Somebody tweet that for me. They'll tell you it's marketing. But you can be really good at marketing. You offer a terrible product, a terrible experience. They're not going to come back. And they're going to tell other people bad things about you. There we go. All right. Let me take a pause there. Hope that helps somebody. What questions do we have? Anything touching revenue in your business? I know a lot of things. I know a little bit about a lot of things, but I know a lot about one thing, and that's sales and personal development. What questions do we have? You can throw it in the chat. You're welcome to come off mute. Raise your hand, please. Keep in mind, we are streaming live to YouTube. So if if you're feeling shy, hey, I told you. I've got questions for days, but I want to make sure I help the folks that are here live. I appreciate y'all stopping in. What's going on, Mr. Dunright? We're doing a sales Q&A. Let me know what questions you have. Nope, you guys are just hitting 100% of goal every month, 10% growth month over month. All right, how about this? Oh, there it is. Those are good questions. Those are good questions. All right, let's tackle them. I'm gonna see what time is it. I'll do 3 more. Sales Q&A, I think today is the 7th, January 2024. This is the number one question I get. I'm glad someone asked it. I'm gonna answer it every week if I have to. How do I sell products without sounding salesy? I absolutely love this. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead, shameless plug. I already finished the digital course, and then there's a supplemental course. You can grab those right away. And then I'm working on my 4th book. Yes, hold on. Certified Entrepreneur, right? This will be my 4th book, my 2nd solo project. It's called Better Questions, Better Clients. And what's fascinating to me is this question comes up more than any other question. The second question I get, and I think if we can, we'll dive into this one, is how do I raise my prices? Or how much do I charge? Got a digital course for that one too. Because when I hear questions over and over again, I I create a course, right? So I don't have to repeat myself, and you don't have to wait till Sunday for the sales Q&A. So I love that question. How do we scale growth steadily? Ooh, that's a good one. That might have to be a whole training by itself. We'll talk about that. Let's see here. When selling a service via Zoom, what outline the prospect should be taking on? Oh, I love this one. Okay. That's called the customer journey. I love that one. And I got a shout out to my good friend Takesha Williams. She does a really great job of selling from one-to-many using webinars. I'll share a little bit about mine, but I definitely got to give her credit for some of the things we talked about. So let's talk about selling without sounding salesy. You only sound salesy to someone that doesn't have a problem that matches your solution. Okay? Let me say that in another way. If you're worried about selling salesy, which we're going to ignore the implications on that or why we feel guilty selling or why we have any hesitation in offering people a chance to work with us. We'll save that for another day. You only sound pushy, annoying, aggravating, harassing, whatever negative connotation you have to sales. That will only happen when you're talking to people who don't need what you're selling. So let's flip it around. If I come up to you and I say, hey, I've got this really great medicine, it cures headaches. And you tell me, I don't have a headache. I'm like, oh man, but it's great. 25 pills for just $1. And you're like, hey, I don't have a headache. And I say, no, listen, they work quickly. There's no side effects. And you're like, hey, I still don't have a headache. This is what I imagine happens most often, and people get frustrated and see, this is why I don't sell. Oh, this is why I'm just not, what do they say? I'm not a salesperson. But if I'm going along through the world, I'm scrolling along through social media, and I see someone like, man, I have this headache. My head is figuratively killing me. I don't know what to do. And you say, oh, hey, I have these pills that will cure your headache. Guess how mad they're going to be at you? They're going to be like, oh, don't talk to me. I don't like salespeople. Is that going to happen? No. They're going to be so excited to hear from you. Like, yes, I need this. How much are they? How quickly can you get to them? That's why, check this out. That's why it's better questions get better clients. So the number one thing you can do to avoid silent selling is talk to people with the problem you solve. That's it. That's like the whole masterclass right there. Let's go ahead. Can I highlight this? Let's get a little fancy here. Boom. That's boring. Let's do it. Let's do green. Yeah. If I have a problem, I will be happy to hear from you. And it's really that simple. Now, we'll dive into that one. Follow us on New Skills New You on YouTube, and I dive into this one question a lot more deeply. But if you know you have the cure to their problem and you don't offer them the solution, you're being selfish. You're worried about sounding salesy when someone somewhere is looking for that solution that you offer. That's where I want you to shift your mindset. I'm looking to help people with problems. I'm not here to convince anyone that doesn't have a problem. That's not my job. I'm looking for the people that need me and want to talk to me, and they're going to be happy to hear from me. So this actually goes down to our next question. How do I raise my price? How much do I charge? You talk to people, the problem matches the price. The problem matches the price. If my problem is my shoelaces are dirty, I'm just going to buy new shoelaces. It's a few dollars. But if the problem is my ankle is bad and I have difficulty walking, right, I'm going to pay a podiatrist. Maybe I'm going to get a physical therapist. Maybe I need corrective surgery. The bigger the problem, the bigger the price tag. That's simple. I'll tell you what, if you grab a copy of pre-order the book, I'll throw in the Picking the Perfect Price Masterclass too. Moving right along. Are we good? Throw a thumbs up in there, heart or whatever it is in chat, and let me know we're good. And we keep moving forward. How do we grow sales steadily? This one is difficult because you can't control how many people tell you yes. You can only control how many people you ask. So let's see, I've got another question here. How do I get people to hit the buy button? Love that question. How do I create a demand for my products? There it is. That's the one I was looking for. This one and growing steadily are the same question. The first thing, and I wrote I still have that lead magnet. It was called How to Hear Yes More Often. And there's 5 ways. The first one was tell more people. Number 2 was tell the right people. And this is so subtle and so simple. People feel like I'm being a smart aleck, but it's so important. The more people I tell, the more people that can tell me yes. That's easy math, right? If I tell 10 people, 10 people can tell me yes. If I tell 100 people, 100 people can tell me yes. So the key to growing and scaling steadily is continuing to tell more new people. And then creating a demand for your product is the same thing. I've got to tell more people. Now, we just talked about how do we sell products without sounding salesy. We got to make sure we're telling the right people. we'll talk, and in my book, I talk about asking ourselves these questions. Who is the right person for the solution I'm offering? All right, let's keep going. So then after I tell the right people, I'm going to tell them more often. And this is people that have already expressed interest. If someone tells you no, leave them alone. Don't try and convince them. I'm talking about people that have followed you on social media, who have signed up for your newsletter, who have connected with you on LinkedIn, who have maybe they've purchased from you in the past. We want to tell them again and again and again that we have more solutions to their problems. Hey, did you also know we did this? Did you know it? Hey, it's time to renew. Especially, let's talk about our barber. I got to go see him again. He has a reminder set up. It says, hey, it's been a while. You probably need a haircut. That's what I mean when I talk about tell them more often. I'm not talking about begging people or harassing them. I'm just saying, hey, listen, I haven't talked to you in a while. Come on back. We miss you. So we're going to tell more people. We're going to make sure we tell the right people. We're going to tell them more often. And then let's see, I'm going to actually switch this one. Ask for the referral. I don't think I do a good job at this. Oh, thanks, autocorrect. I know there's a lot of people that don't do this at all. They already paid you, right? They're already a customer. Turn them into affiliates, turn them into promoters, turn them to advocates. And this is a very subtle way I can hear yes more often. And someone tells me no. Perfect example. I don't know if y'all can see all this hair on my head. I haven't cut my hair about 9 years, locks for 8 years. Oh, wow. It'll be 9 this summer in June. If you're like, hey, Bruce, I've got this really great um, razors, that smooth shave. I don't use razors. I don't need a shave. So I'm going to tell you no. And what a lot of people do, and this is when they start to sound salesy, they start telling me how great the razors are, how they're made, they're great price, they won't cut me, smooth shave, so all these great things. But if I don't use razors, who cares? So then what would be better is say, well, hey, Bruce, I see you don't use razors. Who do you know that would like a clean, smooth shave? Then I'll be like, oh, my dad, he's been bald since I was in high school. My best friend, poor guy, he was bald since he was in high school. Poor guy. So now you can hear yes from someone that told you no. And it expands. So this goes back to scale and grow steadily. What if you didn't spend a single dollar on ads, not promos on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Google ads? What if you just went to every one of your past customers and said, hey, thank you so much for being a client. If you enjoyed our product, would you do us a huge favor and tell 2 people? Just send them this link and we'll give you 25% off your next order. What would that do for your business? Now you're in front of people who've never heard of you, who maybe you've never heard of. And how much did it cost you? How much did it cost you? So now my business is growing without having to spend. Michelle said free 99. Yeah, that's a great price. Now my business is growing without me having to spend more money. Just ask better questions. That's why, look, I said this a few times, and I know this is going to change some businesses. I'm just going to blow this up a little bit. I'm going to make it bold. AskBetterQuestions.com. Grab the pre-order of the book. We talk about asking these better questions. And that is actually number 5, is ask better questions. Now, what's interesting about this list is they're not technically in any particular order. Like one's not more important than 5. I recommend all 5 of these. And when I say ask better questions, a lot of people go around and say, hey, you want some pills? Right? They're like, oh, another salesperson. A better question would be, hey, do you get headaches that just don't seem to go away? And you're like, oh man, God, I do get headaches that don't seem to go away. Then I could say, would you like the solution? If you want to sell more Advil, talk to people with headaches. That's the biggest mistake I see over and over again when people try and sell is they spend too much time convincing people when their head does not hurt. So that brings us down to our next question. I love it. I love when a plan comes together. How do I get people to hit the buy button? Put the solution in front of people who have the problem. That should be your number one job as a business owner, is finding people with the problem you solve. And what's so beautiful about it, they may take a little education. Here's the steps to take. Here's how you know if this is right for you, which I cover right here. Listen, I try and create resources that help you be the best version of you. But other than that, they don't take much convincing. And this is where timing comes in. What if their head doesn't hurt right now? This is where telling them more often is so valuable. Because then they're like, oh man, what was that guy who sells the Advil? Oh man, my head really hurts right now. I got to find him. And you tell them again, oh, hey, by the way, it's me again. And they say, yeah, there he is. And they can buy. A big part of sales is timing. I don't really have no magical script for you or what do they call it? Overcoming objections, right? How do I find the right people and figure out what their problem is so I can give them the opportunity to buy? And this really answers when selling on Zoom, what outline should be taken. I recommend starting with a story. Start with a story about how you were impacted by this problem and you came up with a solution. You don't have to invent Advil. That's not the point. Saying, listen, I was here. My head was hurting, it was pounding. I couldn't see straight. I couldn't drive. I didn't want to eat. I had trouble sleeping. And then Advil need to give me some money. If that's you, don't suffer like I did. Click the button below. Let's buy. And what's going to happen is someone without a headache is going to say, oh, that's pretty cool. And they're going to keep scrolling. That's fine. I'm not talking to them. But someone with a headache is like, oh my goodness, I've been looking for this the whole time. So then start with a story. Oops, should be writing this down. Start with a story. And listen, this doesn't have to be a webinar. It doesn't have to be a Zoom. It can be an Instagram reel. It could be a conversation. It could be an ebook. So you start with a story, give them a little education, give them some examples. Those could be testimonials. Testimonials, thank you. Case studies, whatever you want to call them. And then a call to action. And then proactively answer their questions. All right. And then another call to action. That's the simple version. Again, Keisha Williams is webinar queen. She breaks it down even better. So let me scroll all the way back up to the top. This comes back to right here, asking better questions. You have to know there's three types of questions. Question you ask yourself, the question you ask your customer, and there's questions that customer asks themselves. Well, let me talk to y'all real quick. And this is where I'm going to break down. I'm already working on it. The goal is to be in editing by the end of this month. The questions that your clients or potential clients ask themselves are the ones that will either convince them or stop them from buying. And this is what's so frustrating is you're like, man, they were the perfect client. They're just who I serve. This was a perfect problem for them. Why didn't they buy? It's probably because of a question that they asked themselves that you didn't answer. And you say, well, Bruce, why didn't they just ask me? I don't know. I don't know why people don't just ask. But that's why your responsibility is to proactively answer them. So let me go back over here one more time. This can be in your social media, your sales copy, your emails, your landing page, your speaker, YouTube, wherever. If you're talking to a client, you have to answer questions that they're asking in their head. You answer them out loud. And then they'll say things like, wow, it was like they were talking to me. Wow, this is just what I was looking for. Perfect. And they're going to click the buy button. Your business is going to steadily grow. You're going to hear yes more often. You're going to create a demand for your products. You're going to be able to raise your price, and you're going to do it all without sounding salesy. It's really that simple. And so this formula I found works. This could be 6 different pieces of content. Tell a story. Your life is the best. A little education, how it works, why you should use this versus some other options. Testimonials. I know you all watch Social Proof podcast. That's just social proof. How do I know this works? Show them social proof. Call to action. This always fascinates me about human beings, but you have to make it very simple next step, especially consumers. Click here, download today, buy now. They need that prompt. You will get some sales if you just say, oh, hey, by the way, I have this. But if you say, oh, by the way, I have this, click here to purchase, your conversion is going to go higher. I don't know why that is. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a sales professional. Proactively answer the questions. People tell me all the time, Bruce, I'm not a salesperson. Good. I don't want you to be. I say, oh, Bruce, that works for you, but I'm an introvert. Good. Extroverts make terrible salespeople. Why is that? Because they don't listen. They do too much talking. Well, you know what, Bruce? I don't want to push people. If they wanted to buy, they would. A lot of people can't buy from you because they don't know who you are. You never give them a chance to tell you yes. And then another call to action. Sometimes the first time was the wrong time. How do we know the right time is? We don't. That's why we have to tell them more often. We got to give them more chances to tell us yes. Until they tell us no, go away, leave me alone, they unsubscribe, you got to keep telling them. Give them another call to action. If they tell you no, they unsubscribe, leave them alone. Don't convince them. That's not your business. Your business is solving problems. So stop wasting time convincing people who don't have damn problem. All right, did that help somebody? Thanks for firing the chat. Say me. I don't know. I'm no good at that call and response. I just try and get the education. Here's a better question. What are you going to take and use? Because I'm happy to do this, support y'all and continue to create content for you all. But what part of this are you going to take and apply to your business? That's really the biggest way you can thank me is next week, next month, you say, hey, Bruce, I did what you said. Guess what? It worked. And I made some money. I changed some lives and I made some money. That's really what keeps my heart beating. That's because I'll tell you what, if it's free, I pick the time. If you want to pick the time when we meet and you want to pick the topics, great. Hop on my calendar. We can talk pricing. But whether you paid or whether you saw this on YouTube, it's a waste of both our times if you don't take any of it and use it. Go ahead, D.
All right, Bruce. Appreciate you coming on today. So what I'm gonna take
Hold
away.
on a second.
Can you hear me?
Check 1, 2.
I can hear you well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hold on. Maybe I got. Okay, they can hear me, so that's good. All right, you can hear me, Bruce. All right, sounds great. So what I'm gonna take away from what you spoke about is the referral. And usually in my past, from being in sales, most of my referrals have came from like word of mouth, and I serviced the customer so well they made it their business to go tell someone about how happy they was with my product or what I did. But I haven't really considered asking for referrals as if I was in like some kind of like pyramid scheme. I forgot what you call them, whatever that is, where you kind of go, okay, tell me two people I can go down the street and knock on their door, or give me the 10 phone numbers I can call them to try to sell more products. But it registered with me, and I'm trying to think how I want to maneuver in the future with getting more referrals. So even if that's me going to a physical location and I'm meeting someone who purchased some from Facebook Marketplace, or if I'm at a barbershop where I get my hair trimmed up and I'm selling products there, or even if I'm shipping stuff on eBay, I can make a flyer to put inside of the package and they say, oh, okay, if you love this product, make sure you tell your cousin and your baby mama too. So I'm gonna see how I can apply that.
I love it. I love it. Great takeaway. Thanks for sharing. Any other takeaways you can throw in the chat, or you're welcome to raise your hand. And so you're talking about MLMs, multi-level marketing. And I'll say this, I really love the personal development that happens in multi-level marketing. Let's be clear, I'm not in a multi-level marketing. I'm not telling you should get into, but I learned a lot while I was there. And one of the things I learned, I'll give you two, is that your network truly is your net worth. The more people you know, the more people who know you, the more you can grow in a business. That's an invaluable lesson. Now, whether or not the products of the company are good, I'm not going to argue that. The second thing was I learned is you have to be comfortable with being disliked. Now, I talk about operating integrity. I want you to be transparent and honest. And that's why I love referrals. The way I do it, I say, who do you know that has this problem? I don't just want two random numbers out of your phone. If I sell, let's go back to the razors. Who are two bald people you know, right? If I help service-based businesses, tech startups, and SaaS companies increase their revenue, who do you know that runs a SaaS company? Who do you know that has a service-based business? So it's a lot different than saying, hey, just pick two random names and I'm going to call them. I only want to help people that have a problem I solve. And that's where your referrals are going to be much stronger and people are going to be happy to hear from you and they're going to be happy to tell you yes. Let's see here. Another takeaway was to tell the right people. It's a recurring theme I've seen over and over and over again. I generally like to wear a button up or a polo. So I have some friends with some clothing brands, really cool brands, but it's not what I wear. Now, shout out to Book Profits Club. I will wear their shirts because they helped me become an author. So that's very personal to me. So instead of trying to convince me to buy your what do they call like sweatsuits, go find someone that wears sweatsuits. And not only is it easier for you, it's less stressful for you, it's a better experience for the potential client. They're the right people. Does that, and you have to stop taking it personally. Oh man, they didn't want my brand. I should just give up. No, go find some of the right people. When someone tells you no, that's feedback. That's them saying, man, you know what? That was the wrong person. Hey, I'm sorry, Bruce. I see that you like to wear polos. This might be the right fit for you. Who do you know that just wants to be comfy and share this message? I might tell you, oh, I have my buddy. He's a truck driver. He only wants to be comfortable. Cool. Would you introduce us? Sure. Why not? Much easier conversation. And you don't have to be a salesperson that we all hate. Let me get, let's see here, two more takeaways. What's something you're going to apply to your life or business so we can break some records here this year? My takeaway is to ask more often. and not feel like I'm bothering them. That's a good one. It's a tough one. I never know when the right time is, which is why I have to ask more often. And honestly, you're only bothering people that don't have the problem you solve. And they'll tell you, oh, hey, no, I don't run a tech company. I run a plumbing service. Oh, okay. Hey, that's not who I serve. No problem. But until they tell you no, no, thank you, or go away, give them another chance. And that doesn't mean the same day or even the same week, maybe once a month, right? Put them into your newsletter with permission. Always get the opt in and realize I'm not here to bother you just because I don't have nothing else to do today. I really care about the people I'm helping. And it's such a very peaceful feeling. It's very, what's the word, relieving. Say, oh, sorry. You said no. I apologize. You weren't the person I was looking for. I'm looking for this person. Can you help me find them? That's a referral. And you don't have to feel bad about it. If they ended up on the list accidentally, hey, no problem. I'll take you off. But I don't have to feel bad about because I know the people that I help are much, much happier to hear from me than the people I accidentally talk to who are slightly annoyed for 3 seconds and then they forget about it anyway. Another takeaway is to ask better questions. Yes, better questions, better clients. That's why introverts are so great at sales. They ask good questions and they shut up and they listen to the answers. And last one, but not least, be specific about the rooms I speak in. More intentional, more consistent. Absolutely. I have a associate who helps insurance agents have their first six-figure year. There is no reason she should be talking to realtors. There's no reason she should be talking to roofers. She's good at what she does. Oh, but Bruce, I really care about helping people. No, you help insurance agents. If they aren't a licensed insurance agent, why are you talking to them? You can't help them. Maybe you can help them a little bit. I don't want you to help them, anyone a little bit. I want you to find some people you can help a lot. Change their lives so much they won't stop talking about you. You guys can go to my page and look at some of the testimonials I have. You've heard some of the members in the morning meetup because I don't help a lot of people, not just to say, oh, I had 1 million followers. I help a few people in big ways. I will scale this year by impact over income. Be intentional, be consistent. All right, my name is Bruce Hill of New Skills, New You, focusing on personal and professional development with the emphasis in sales, helping you grow your business from inside out by supporting the most important part of your business, the people. And we believe one new skill will change your life. Join us next Sunday for a live sales Q&A. Pre-order next book, Better Questions, Better Clients, at askingbetterquestions.com.